If you want to stand out and thrive, then by definition, you need to first understand what most people are doing and then not do that. Plain and simple, really. Inflation, layoffs, distraction, everything feels like it's pitted against you. But ironically, through all of this bullshit, most people are addicted to comfort. They'll scroll 3 hours a day, binge Netflix, and wonder why they're stuck. And there are a bunch of people who won't even get till this point of this particular video. This is like what, freaking 10 to 15 seconds into the video? That's freaking crazy. But if you're still here watching this and you're keen on standing out, thriving, and making a lot of money in the process, then you know you're already different and of course you want to change. That already sets you apart. And in this video, I'll show you why that's our biggest advantage and why people like us have a massive edge if and only if we're willing to take it. Let's start off by talking about how most people are caught in the hamster wheel scenario. They're just so caught up with surviving or waiting for the weekend. Like most people aren't fulfilled by their day job. Like things are also getting more and more expensive and consumption is at an all-time high. Like all types of consumption for that matter. Content, food, products, anything, right? And I think this is just a byproduct of capitalism. Like just go into your settings and see how much time you have personally spent on social media today, this week, and even last month. The numbers will blow your freaking mind. All of this just means that everyone has limited attention span. They're all seeking comfort. They're all looking for instant gratification. And this also means that if you don't conform, then you're not part of that herd and you'll automatically stand out. Showing up and doing the work will automatically set you up for success. I can tell you, having spoken to a lot of entrepreneurs, most people are not willing to do the work to stand out. I mean, there's a reason, right? Because of everything I stated earlier, but also because it's not easy to do. And I think this is why a lot of that clickbaity shit really works in today's day and age. I've seen videos around drop shipping, making it seem like it's such an easy thing to do. Then there's crypto, then there's flipping properties. I mean, these people can't even flip burgers properly and they're entrepreneurs looking to flip properties. Are you kidding me? Everyone's looking for get-rich-quick schemes. And so it's important to play a game that you can play for the long haul. And I think personally, that's what being an entrepreneur is. Like, even if you achieved what you aim for, money and whatnot, the real question is, would you stop? If the answer is yes, then you're probably not an entrepreneur. It's really that drive, that need to want to do something, achieve it, and really do something by yourself and for yourself. And I personally believe that not everyone's cut out to be an entrepreneur, of course, but some parts of it are things that can't be taught too, in my opinion. Sure, you can learn skills and bits along the way, but fundamentally, you either have it or you don't. And the reason I mention entrepreneurs is because we're willing to do things even when things get super hard, but also when things get really easy too. And all of this just means that if you show up and do the work, you're already on your way to success. And this automatically will get you to stand out, which also means that you get to succeed and thrive. But again, it's easy for me to say all of this. I can't encapsulate all the hard work I put into building my ventures in the past, but it really requires intention and drive. But the good thing though is that even if you remotely have it or you made up your mind, then you can easily stand out like we just discussed. If you're finding this useful and even with all this ambiguity and challenges, you believe you're an entrepreneur and you're still keen on pursuing your venture and building something of your own, then you might actually be interested in this thing I put together. It's called 15 things you need to do to build a profitable and scalable business even while working full-time. Things that most entrepreneurs don't talk about. There's a bunch of psychological points, some strategic advice, some tactical, and some habits-based advice that will really help you. It's all structured to get you to build something of your own that actually makes you money in the process. It's completely free. It's going to always be free. It's all going to be delivered to your inbox one day at a time so that you can read and learn at your own comfort. And if you don't find it useful, then you can unsubscribe at any time you want. You can click on the first link in the description and sign up. Now, if I still have your attention and you'd like to stand out, then let me help you with some tools and tactics that have really helped me triple down. I'll divide this into two things: book recommendations and simple actionable advice that'll help you. So book recommendations. I'm not going to go into the details of each book. Like, don't overthink it. Pick these up and spend time learning everything they have to offer and just thank me later. And the first book I want to talk to you about is Deep Work by Cal Newport. Like, the only thing that's going to set you apart from the rest, like I mentioned, is to really show up and do the work. And by work, I mean deep, intentional work and not shallow bullshit, I'm on calls the entire day kind of work. Like, I know of a lot of people who think that they're busy and doing a lot of work and they're killing it and all of that, but actually in reality, they're just doing shallow work. And this book completely changed the way I approach work and got me to get into the flow state and do some serious, impactful, deep work. Like for instance, even just coming up with points for this video, I had to sit down, do some real serious, deep thinking and come up with the points so I can now structure my thoughts and talk to the camera. This is really awkward, by the way. It's not easy talking to camera, just saying. And the second recommendation I have is a combination of two books. The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, and Essentialism by Greg McKeown. These books will help you clarify what are those essential activities you need to focus on every single day. Basically, activities that will really move the needle and get you closer to your goals. I would highly recommend both books. Take in every single thing they both have to offer. And to be honest, I'm actually currently reading Effortless by the same author, Greg McKeown. It's not really part 2 of the series, but it's a good complementary book to Essentialism. Anyway, the third recommendation I have is a combination of another 2 books, The Power of Habit and Atomic Habits. Basically, these are the only 2 books you need to understand habit change and to really build a good habit. Basically, The Power of Habit talks about the habit cycle and what it takes for you to really change or replace a bad habit with a good one. And Atomic Habits, I'm sure you're already aware of it, really talks about how you can get to show up on a day-on-day basis and really rely on systems more than habits or motivation. And now let's talk about like simple actionable advice. I really think it all fundamentally comes down to 3 simple things. First thing is basically an activity you need to do on a daily basis, but decide on the one thing you need to do a particular day so that that day is a resounding success. When I had a day job, I had one for my business which would be completed by the time I started my day job, and then I would have another one thing for my day job as well. Like all of this comes down to having clarity. Like if you don't know what you're hoping to achieve by the end of the day, or you don't know what you're hoping to achieve the next day, chances are you won't get around to doing all of it the next day, or you won't even show up. And so it would be a good idea to plan this the previous day. Trust me, huge difference. I normally plan out my next day while I'm going to bed, so I know that this is what I need to be working on the moment I'm up and running. Secondly, allocate a portion of the day where you promise yourself that you're going to do what you set out to do no matter what. And so back when I had a full-time day job, I was still creating content like this. So there were days I would have to, script 1 or 2 YouTube videos. And what I would do is plan out the first 2 to 3 hours of the day to focus on getting the scripts completed and then start working on my day job responsibilities. And normally I'm up by 6 a.m. and I'd get started with work around 7. And so by 9 or 10 a.m. I'd be fully done with the scripting or my business work. And only then would I move on to working on what my day job expected of me. And then I would have another thing that I need to accomplish for my day job. And so either ways, if the entire day went to the dogs, at least I can rest assured that what I had to do, my one thing for that particular day, I had done. And I think the big takeaway here is that it's super important to know what time and where you're going to be working on what. For instance, I knew I had to work on my YouTube scripting at home around 7 a.m. and leave to office around 9:30, 10. And so having that clarity was a massive, massive boon. It gave me clarity. I knew exactly what I had to do that particular day. And finally, stay the F away from your phone. Like I said, this is a consumerist's world right now, and the only goal all these tech companies have is for you to spend more time on their devices, apps, etc. So you need to be mindful of this and not play that game. And I've kind of mentioned this before, but you need to be a creator or a builder and not a consumer in this world if you want to thrive. Like take any successful person or entrepreneur and you'll see that this holds true. It's because they built something of their own or they created something of their own, basically something that they have inherent equity in. And being super honest, I'm not entirely immune to this whole consumption piece too. Like off late, I've been quite addicted to shorts or reels. So now I keep my phone in the hall while I work in my workroom. I don't touch it until I'm done with the deliverables for that half of the day, and I repeat the same thing for the second half too. And I know I said 3 things, but I want to add another thing that is super important and just kind of struck me as I was speaking through this. I think rewarding yourself is key. Something I avoided doing for the longest time and paid for it quite literally. It's not easy to do everything what I'm saying, but if you want to play the long game, you have to actually play the long game. And like Charles Duhigg says in The Power of Habit, for something to become a habit, you have to complete the habit cycle by some form of reward or gratification. And so if you decide to do the work, reward yourself with something. For instance, most weekends my wife and I love going to a new place to eat or ordering in food because we just love it. But all this only if we have done the work that week and achieved what I'd set out to do. The simple reward but goes a long way psychologically. There's some weeks where we still order in or eat out and I haven't done everything I've set out to do and it just makes me feel shitty. And so the next week I'm doubling down to get that feeling. I'll tell you another thing I did recently. I had a mind block to go looking for my media house next client, a high ticket client. It meant that I had to do a lot of outreach, network and get the right clients who'd be willing to pay and partner with us. Not really an easy feat. It does take some time. But I also love playing the sport paddle. I play a ton of pickleball and paddle now, but I didn't have a paddle racket. And so there was this sale recently and I was telling myself that I'll buy the racket and then work hard to get my next client. Backwards, I know, but my wife told me that, how about you buy this when you land your next client? And so now I'm working my ass off to try and get to that point so that I'm deserving of that racket. Can I afford to buy a 200 paddle or racket? Fuck yes. But should I? That's a different conversation. This is the same thing now my wife and I have decided to do with traveling too. We'll travel, explore and enjoy when we have achieved our next big milestone. Like we'd love to go to New York soon, but only if we both hit our business goal milestones by a certain month. Might sound harsh or stupid, but trust me, it works. Anyway, all of these might seem very unconventional and usually things really ambitious people don't talk about, but they kind of do or perform in some form or the other. Like I mentioned earlier, it's easy to succeed in today's day and age because of all the reasons I mentioned above, but it's not easy to show up and do the work for the same reason. And that's why most people don't do it. It's a paradox. And so if there's one thing you took away from this video, it's that if you really put your mind to it and build the right systems around your life, you'll 100% achieve what you're looking for. Sounds so cliche and corny, but it's so true. And so if you're looking for more insights or systems to help you on your journey, then like I mentioned before, I put together the 15 things you need to do to build a profitable business even while working full-time. Not the usual fluff. These are things most people don't talk about, stuff that actually moves the needle. A lot of things that I've used personally in my businesses as well. A lot like a few things I mentioned in today's video. A mix of psychology, strategy, habits, systems, and real tactics that'll help you build something of your own. You'll get it straight to your inbox completely free, one day at a time. And if it's not useful, unsubscribe anytime. You can sign up via the first link in the description. Thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one.